Covering the Chase Allen murder by the 6 police officers of Farmington, Utah. I'm going to present some addresses and phone numbers. I'm pleading with you to write these people to get this case reopened. My efforts have not worked. If I feel I get a lot of citizens out there to help me, then they're going to take a look at this. You have to know that everybody that I'm going to show you their address on here, I've already contacted, and it's fallen on deaf ears. This is not really what you would call a conspiracy, but a collaboration of the government against citizens. Why do I say that? Because DA Troy Rawlins, after I posted a 2.5-hour video, proves that DA Troy Rawlins is just as guilty as the men that fired their weapons to murder Chase Allen. Why do I say that? Because the videos I posted prove that Chase Allen was sought out for execution by probably the DA Troy Rawlins, probably the mayor of Farmington, and I'm alleging all this, and the chief of police and the police officers that murdered him. You know, when you look at the video that I posted, a 2.5-hour video, what's really important to look at is that they omitted the assassination shot out of that little dog and pony show that the chief put on there from the news media. And why we mention the news media, I'm telling you, unless they come forward, I've emailed them twice. I gave them an 8-page letter explaining where you could look to find the proof that he was murdered, Chase Allen, by the Farmington Police Department. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and both newspapers are despicable organizations. You're not getting the news. They've kept and they've protected these police officers and the district attorney of Davis County. They protected them from prosecution. The video, 2.5 video that I have posted on my site, unequivocally proves that this was an assassination. They have no picture by itself where Chase Allen in his hand had a gun pointed at him. It was between the seat and the center console the whole time. And the lion weenie that you have to go after is Sergeant Taylor Jacobson. He's the one that went into the car and pulled the weapon out that you see in their dog and pony show and committed a felony. You don't touch anything in a murder scene. Then in their report, they report the gun on the seat, on the floorboard, and here it is on the wheel well. Their video was doctored to support the narrative that Chase Allen pulled out a gun. He never pulled out a gun. Did they take fingerprints on that gun to see who touched it to pull it out? I doubt if they did that. I doubt if there's pictures of where the gun was supposedly on the seat or the floorboard. You're not going to find a picture of that. This whole thing, for whatever reason, to include Governor Cox, who you should not reelect, he's covering this up, and so is the Attorney General Reyes. I've gone down to their office. I talked to a lady. I said, I've written you 9 times. Then all of a sudden, and I have a witness to this, who's Utah Cop Watch, they told us before they never got any letters when we went down there. This is not my first trip right into their office. But they said, when the last visit, the gal goes, we've answered all your letters. No, they didn't. They're liars. For whatever reason, this was all orchestrated by the government, and I'm including the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, because, again, there was an informant that called Diane Allen and told her that this informant said that he had talked to Eric Johnson, and he had told him that the FBI had trained him how to assassinate Chase Allen. And unless the newspapers, and unless there's an independent investigation, and it can't be done by the Salt Lake City Federal Bureau of Investigation, because they're implicated in it. The government, the federal government, our state government, to include the governor of Utah, Cox, and Reyes, are denying proper justice for Chase Allen and his family. This young man never pointed a gun, just like the old chief of the Salt Lake City Police Department said, if he never pointed his gun at anybody, it's a totally different ball game. That gun was never pointed at one police officer. Butcher could have never seen a gun when he yelled, "Gun, gun, gun," because the fat lard butt of the sergeant, Taylor Jacobson, was in the way. The videos show that. And they never show the body cams of when the sergeant looked inside the vehicle. Why? Think about that. Because it would not have shown a gun in the hand of Chase Allen. That's the reason why he was told to get out of the car. And when he did, Sergeant Jacobson pushed him back in. Why? Because they could not afford for him to show up with two hands empty. So I'm going to show you right now.
So many requests. Legal requests.
I'm going to show you the
of your office.
Phone numbers. I'm sorry, I was trying to play around with my computer. But here's the phone numbers that you must call so that you can hound them. We need you to write your congressman. Write the FBI. Write the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. This case has got to be opened up. And why do I say this case has to be opened up? Because there is an epidemic in America where police officers are not being trained properly and our children are being murdered senselessly. They get taser training and they don't even use the darn things. Why didn't they pepper spray Chase Allen? Why didn't they use a taser? No, I'm telling you, this was a planned execution by our own government, and it involves the federal government, the state government, the county, and the city. Just like they go after you and charge you, I'm charging them, because everything that I've seen proves that this was an assassination of a young man. And it goes to what they call sovereign citizens. That's the underlining reason. They had to make an example. And we have to go after Judge John Karlinchowski, who was a complete idiot, who had this young man. The district attorney said this shouldn't have been settled on the side of the road with a gun. Well, guess what? His mother went to court the September prior to the March he was murdered on March 1st. And Chase Allen tried to help his mother in court to explain why she didn't have to have a driver's license and a license on her plate. It was sanctioned by the federal government. They paid their money, and it's protected by United States codes and a different citizenship. And they ignored that, and no state wants to know about it or bring it out. If you listen to the 2.5-hour video, go to the judicial proceedings where Chase Allen's mother tried to present her case, and the judge never gave her day in court. He wasn't going to see nothing because he's a prick, because he's an ass, because he wears a black robe. He thinks he's God. That guy needs to be kicked off. And again, the Judicial Conduct Commission whitewashed my complaint. Chase Allen was illegally arrested with no warrant. We have a sergeant, and I'm going to say his name so you guys can go check on him. Not a sergeant. He's a member of the sheriff's department. His name is Sadler, and he told me and my friend Victoria that they had no warrant and that it was a cover story that they got the wrong warrant mixed up with Chase Allen. It was too convenient. I'm telling you, please call these numbers and start hounding these people. Look at the 2.5-hour video. I'll know if you're looking at it from this video. But I want every YouTuber to help me get this message out and have their members write these addresses and call these people. I don't have Merrick Garland's number on here, and I don't have the FBI in Washington. But this is a conspiracy against American citizens. That's what this is. They're murdering citizens. Too many of them are being murdered by cops. It's just like the lady, I believe was in Illinois, shot in the face. Or the man in Farmington a month after Chase Allen was murdered comes to his front door, and you can hear the officers talk about, oh, we got the wrong house. And they saw a gun at his side, and they immediately shot him. If you're a message to police officers, if you're that afraid, don't become a police officer. Start learning how to use your taser. And if you don't think there's an epidemic, go to YouTube and in the search area, put PBS shots fired Utah. It will open your eyes up. And there's a guy, I think he's a sergeant or whatever, a lieutenant, that teaches post training with weapons. He needs to be fired because he's jacking people up to shoot grandma and your children. That's totally immoral. Totally immoral the way they're teaching the police officers in that post training. Look into everything I'm saying. It's all there. Here's the addresses. Again, I want you to go and call the numbers, write them letters, hound them crazy, because this is in protection of our own children. This is a terrible conspiracy. So I can't do this. I'm really got my hands tied. And when I've written, think about this. I've written the governor, the attorney general, the FBI in Salt Lake City. I've written the district attorney. I've written the city manager for Farmington. I've written I've gone in to the police chief, which you've seen those videos. I've written Merrick Garland. I've written the FBI back in Washington, and they all covered this up. Why? It's all about money. It's all about screwing you as a citizen. Now look, before anybody throws any doubt on my background, I served our country 20 years honorably. And I'm not going to let a death of a young man who was murdered, assassinated, executed by the Farmington police officers. I hate them. I'm never going to go after them or threaten them. But every time I get in front of this dumbass police chief, Eric Johnson, he wants to arrest me for whatever reason he can. And he put his hands on me one of the last confrontations. They're dirty. They're hiding stuff. You people, I'm going to look right in this camera, and I want to talk to the mayor, the city manager, and you people that sit on your city council. You're guilty as hell. You need to get rid of those 6 officers and this police chief, because you're going to open yourself up to huge lawsuits. Now, Diane Allen is going to come after you guys, and it ain't going to be pretty when she's done with you. You don't have a chance, a snowball's chance in hell of winning this case. Just look at my video, my 2.5-hour video. It'll prove that Chase Allen was executed. And ask yourself when you watch it, why did the chief never show the assassination shots by Kyle Carey to the back of the head? And why didn't he ever show the body cam of Taylor Jacobson looking into the vehicle? Because it would not support the fact that they are guilty of murder, Chase Allen. And ask yourself, why is the federal government, the state government, the county government, and the city of Farmington trying to cover this up? And ask yourself, why is the news media, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and the 2 major newspapers in Salt Lake City carrying water, covering for all these idiots? It's a conspiracy against you. If you want to save the next child, get involved in this, please. I don't care where you are in the country. And again, I need the support of every YouTuber out there who has a channel to help get involved in this. And this is what the new step forward that we need to do besides just filming the police. We need to get a concerted effort, a united front in combating this bullcrap in your area and in mine. And may this be the first big step that we can take. And I challenge, I don't have to challenge San Joaquin and his sons to help get this out there and direct and delete laws. I don't know where you're at. We've had a conversation, but I'd like you to get involved in this too. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and I hope that you get involved.